Laura here from Laura Likes. Today I wanted to share a couple of parenting books that I found recently that have completely changed how I'm interacting with my kids and especially with my 5-year-old. Well, I've been struggling with him a lot lately. It's been hard, and I realized that I was expecting a 5-year-old, or a 5 3/4 as he likes to say, to act like a 9-year-old. And so when he was having loud, big emotions, when he was being unreasonable, it was so confusing, and I immediately went to this place of punishment, which is different from the word discipline, which means to teach. Now, I know all of this because I have a daughter, and Chloe was very challenging in her own way until about age 5. So her first, from 1 to 5, those were intense years. And with Neil, it's been more 4 and 5 have been a lot more challenging. I don't even remember 3 being very hard. And so I was getting to this breaking point because I was asking myself questions like this, and I want to know if you ask these kinds of questions when you're kind of at your wit's end. How do I make my child mind? How do I make my child understand no? How do I get my child to listen to me? How do I make this problem go away? So, do you ask those kind of questions? Do you get to this point and you're so focused on the negative, on what the kid's doing wrong? Well, so in my distress, I downloaded Dr. Greg Popchak's book, Parenting with Grace. And it's a wonderful book. I probably shouldn't have gotten it on my Kindle because I tend for parenting books or resource books, it's nice to be able to flip through quickly. It has some really good stuff in there about theology of the body and self-donative parenting and respecting the child as a separate, soul that we have no right to, maybe use corporal punishment on, which I'm not saying that's what I was doing, but, just using negative tactics in general, such as yelling, threatening, spanking, shaming, even punitive timeouts, right? And so his book talked all about needing to understand your child's development. And so anyway, that is the first book. I really do recommend every parent read Parenting with Grace because it's a Catholic book. And so the Catholic theology around parenting, or the Catholic philosophy around parenting, is very weaved in with our theology, and it's very different than the Protestant realm of parenting, because apparently, and I didn't know this, but Dr. Dobson from Focus on the Family is quoted there as saying that you have to beat the evil out of your child, or that children are intrinsically evil. Wow, very, very different from the Catholic viewpoint that, people are naturally good because we're made in the image and likeness of God. And that's only through original sin and concupiscence that we stray in the first place, right? But we are good. God loves us, and we are good, and we should know that we're loved no matter what we do. So it was really helpful to start there and kind of get my head wrapped around what the Catholic philosophy on parenting is, because it's very, very different from this Protestant realm. And honestly, a lot of society has adopted the Protestant viewpoint of parenting, even if they don't even realize they're doing it. But I was praying, I need some help, I need some guidance. How am I supposed to make this better with Neil? I can't stop his big emotions, but I can stop my big emotions, because responding in kind, he amps up and I amp up, is a very natural dance, I would say, that he and I do. It's not helpful. It's not helpful to our relationship. It's not helpful to the peace of the husband. My husband hates it, very, reasonably so. So my sister, who has twin 3-year-olds, her husband is a doctor, so she's constantly talking about what the AAP says, American Academy of Pediatrics, yeah. And they're all about positive parenting. And so she'll say, you're not supposed to use punitive discipline measures, you're supposed to respect the child as an individual, and it actually all aligns with Catholic theology. It's so fascinating. So there's a book called Positive Discipline, and they have one for the early years, like 0 to 2, and I bought that because, like I said, Chloe, that was my struggle with hers, or it was like 0 to 3, and then they have one for preschoolers, which is 3 to 6, and I think they may have one for elementary. If they do, I'll put it in my bookstore under like what I'm reading, but I definitely know they have a preschool one, which is from 3 through 6, because 7 is when, you know, as we know as Catholics, that's the age of reason. That's when children receive their first Holy Communion, because they're at this age where they can start really grasping these bigger concepts. And so until about age 7, you're in this, and it starts at like 3, you're in this really intense period of parenting, and it's exhausting. Positive parenting philosophy, whether you're Catholic or not, the book is secular, but like I said, it coincides really well with Catholicism, so that's why I'm like highlighting the book here. It just does such a good job of giving you those tools and reminding you, showing you how positive parenting can lead to such better results. And I have to say, what it does for me, or what it's done for me in the past couple of days, is it's helped me kind of step back. Even when Neil, like today, he kind of flipped out because we thought about buying popsicles, and the popsicles I was willing to spend money on weren't there, and so I said, you know what? I only have so much money in my budget. I'm not buying anything in this freezer section. We'll have to go to another store another time. And he like got stuck in this cycle of I want a popsicle, nothing else was, and nothing was working. And he literally just screamed and kind of had a tantrum like while we were in the self-checkout. And I was just proud of myself because I didn't threaten and I didn't yell. And I did try to pull him out of the cart at one point, and he did the whole, you know, power struggle, which positive parenting talks about how to avoid power struggles. But anyway, long story short, I really just wanted to get on here and recommend these books because, like I said, if you're in the throes of the 3 to 3, you're, you know, beginning at 3 and ending at 7, if you're in that realm, girl or guy, if you're watching, like, this is just an intense period of parenting. And like I said, my 9-year-old is so different from my 5-year-old right now. Like, their brains, their maturity is just night and day. And so I expect him to catch up to her, and he's not there. He's just not there maturity-wise. And it's not something I need to punish, and it's not something I need to beat out of him. But it's something I need to accept and learn the tools to navigate these waters for the next couple of years, until he gets to that age of reason and we can move on into, you know, a higher maturity level. Let me know where you are in your parenting walk, if you've had a struggle lately and you want to share. If you want to share a high-low, I kind of like that icebreaker. I don't usually like icebreakers, but I kind of liked doing the high-low. It was nice hearing about people's lives, and so Neil's behavior and my reaction to his behavior in the last week has been my low, and finding this book, especially Positive Discipline for Preschoolers, has been my high. So, God bless. Have a very beautiful day. Subscribe if you're new, and make sure you like this video, and I will talk to you real soon. And let me know what you think of Our Lady Guadalupe, because I grabbed that at the PX by a local artist, and I was just so excited. It was like $30. I just total score. Alright, it's like pretty big. And my pumpkin's back there because it is almost fall. So, God bless. Bye.